Hi, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys? I'm doing good. Alright, guys, this one's actually coming from CNN today. That Sheriff David Ward of Harney County is starting to say some very bad things about the ranchers occupying the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. And basically, here, you can tell by one of the most famous lines of the last nearly 8 years who it is that has decided to either write his speech for him or has influenced his speech and writing. So, this is coming from CNN. I know I don't like that source either, but basically, this is what it's saying. Oregon protesters harassing police, sheriff says. The picture is of Sheriff David Ward of Harney County. Sheriff Ward, I'd like to see the agencies go home. Okay, fine, decent little subtitle, no big deal. I'll show you this after everything, but I want to get down to the point of what I heard and how it echoed back to the White House. And then I will show you this because it's really not worth showing until then. Anyways, out of Burns County, Oregon, or Burns, Oregon, since the occupying of the Malheur Wildlife Refuge came to town, there's been an increased number of vandalism, harassment, intimidation in Harney County, said Sheriff David Ward. There's continual reports of law enforcement officers and community members being followed home, of people sitting in cars outside their homes, observing their movements and those of their families, the people following them and their families as they move around the community, Ward said Monday. While not direct physical threats, these activities are clearly designed to intimidate. Some of the armed protesters have been able to leave and return from the refuge center during the occupation. So they are, in fact, calling this an occupation, folks. And this is the meat and potatoes here, folks. Let me be clear. The law enforcement agencies, those that are local as well as the sheriff's deputies from around the state, the Oregon State Police troopers and the FBI agents will not be intimidated from doing their jobs. Now, who do we know that says, let me be clear? Oh, Obama. Hang on one second. Let me be clear. Vandalism, harassment, intimidation reported by Harney County Sheriff Ward said. Community members have been followed home. People are sitting outside their homes observing their movements. Those of them and their families. People following them and their families as they move around the community, Ward said on Monday. Everyone on the law enforcement side is working together to bring peaceful resolution to the situation, and the behavior of these folks from outside of our community only serve to escalate the situation unnecessarily. Alright, here we go. And now this is what they're basically saying. They basically came out and said, Amon Bundy, the son of the anti-government Nevada rancher Clavin Bundy, and others have been hunkered down in the wildlife refuge since early January. That's not true. Well, yeah, I guess it is. The protest started out as a call against the conviction of Dwight Hammond and his son Stephen, two ranchers who were found guilty in 2012 of committing arson in federal lands in Oregon, but soon morphed into a bigger movement rallying against the role of the federal government when it comes to land rights. I'm only going to read the next couple, 3 little paragraphs, and I'll let you read the protesters arriving on both sides and everything else basically going to hell. Word says that both law enforcement and employees of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, which runs the refuge, have been harassed recently. He says fish and wildlife workers have been seen vehicles driving slowly or idling in front of their homes. Well, you know what? I've seen vehicles doing that too outside my home. That is intimidation. That is harassment. That is lots of those things. Hell, one of those guys tried to run my ass over. When I went to the police chief, what did he say? Some drunk guy, don't worry about it. Okay. So that's happening in my area too, and they're saying this about the ranchers. So, anyways, these guys are self-identified militia members. Will approach them in public according to word, trying to engage a debate about federal government. These people on the refuge and those who they have called to our community obviously have no consideration for the wishes and needs of the people of Harney County, he said. If they did, they would work to bring the situation to a peaceful close. And I'm just going to basically show this because this kind of shows you a different side over here. Some guy says he came here from New Mexico on behalf of the sportsmen to speak on behalf of the people who love the land and wildlife, yada, yada, yada. They're not terrorists. You get the idea. And basically, he's sitting there with his truck, license plate fully up, and to me, that's a safety risk for CNN to run a man's truck with his whole license plate like this is absolutely wrong. Anyways, it says, get the flock out of my wildlife refuge. Wanda Moore, Wanda KTVZ, the opponents of the Bundy group arrive at the refuge. Hashtag Oregon standoff. So that's what you need to do to make this go on. There's a hashtag Oregon standoff, and then there's more. So you guys get the idea here, folks. Remember, government cannot act with anything that they have not started or caused to start. So they do not have legal authority. This goes back to Greco-Roman law. And whether or not you think they have authority because it's a refuge, if no laws are being broken on the site, they cannot intervene. They can, however, start to detain these men and women who are supposedly doing these things. Folks, I have hundreds of situations on my end. I actually want to come out and just give you my story at this point. And I've even tried, I won't get into this, but this situation here at the Malheur Wildlife Refuge is serious, folks. And these guys are trying to build a case to where FBI and others can go in and get these guys. They're trying like hell, folks. So, I don't know what to tell you, but this is from CNN. Oh, I imagine the good old boys are out there watching these guys, watching the main groups of FBI, watching them go home, do that. I guarantee you that happens. No question in my mind, folks. Observe and report. First line of any situation, whether it be an occupation or anything else. Thank you.